Conference championship weekend is here in college football. I've got plays on all three of Friday's games for you coming up here on the Power Five. Also, a couple looks in college basketball as well. As a reminder, you can always go ahead, comment down below with your thoughts on these selections. Number one, we're going to start things off with the AAC Championship. I like Army +3 in the first half versus Tulane. Game takes place at West Point, expected to be below 32 degrees by kickoff. Now, for much of this season, I have had Tulane, not Boise State, power rated as the top G5 team. But the Green Wave took a bad loss in their regular season finale, 34-24 to Memphis as 12.5-point home favorites. And in that loss, they allowed 242 yards rushing. I think we all know what Army likes to do offensively. Yes, the Black Knights now pass more, but they lead the nation by far in rushing yards per game, 303.6. The gap between them and the number 2 team in rushing yards is as sizable as the gap between the number 2 and number 11 ranked team in rushing yards. Then there's this. Service academies as underdogs are 96 and 66 against the spread in the first half over the last 10 seasons. There will be a limited number of possessions in the first half here. Therefore, I don't see Army falling behind by more than a field goal going into halftime. Number 2, Conference USA Championship game. I like Jacksonville State. Team total over 30.5 versus Western Kentucky. These two teams just met last week, and WKU won 19-17. But important to note that Jacksonville State had nothing to play for in that game. They'd already clinched their spot to host this week's game. They took out offensive starters, including quarterback Tyler Huff, early in the second half. So that final score was a bit misleading. Earlier, I mentioned that Army is number 1 in the country in rushing yards per game. Well, Jacksonville State's 4th. And the Gamecocks play a lot faster than Army. They rank 7th nationally in tempo on offense. If you go back to the regular season, some of the midweek Conference USA games, you may recall we played Jacksonville State over its team total multiple times here on the Power 5. At home tonight, I expect them to score at least 31 points. WKU allowed 38 at Liberty 2 weeks ago. Remember, last week's game was in Bowling Green. Number 3, Mountain West Championship game. I'm going to take the +4.5 with UNLV at Boise State. Another regular season rematch for you. Boise won the regular season meeting in Vegas by a final score of 29-24. However, and they were 4-point road favorites for that game. So it's somewhat curious that they are laying a pretty similar number tonight on the blue turf. But UNLV has not lost since that regular season meeting. And let's note a few things from that matchup. The Broncos were outgained on a per-play basis. Running back Ashton Jeanty was held to only 128 yards rushing on 33 carries by a very good UNLV run defense. The key to that game ended up being Boise going a perfect 4 for 4 on 4th downs and running the clock out with a 14-play, 8+ minute drive on the final possession. Yes, Boise State has beaten UNLV 8 straight times, including last year's Mountain West championship game, but each of the previous 6 meetings, whichever team has been on the road, has covered the spread. So that points to UNLV, and I am taking the points. Number 4, let's go to some college basketball. We were 2 for 2 on the show yesterday in college hoops. I like St. Peter's tonight, -8.5. You can still find some -8s, as a matter of fact, versus Manhattan. A little MAC action for you on Friday. Now, St. Peter's has already taken money. Looking at the WagerTalk.com live odds screen, you can see the Peacocks opened -7. So not getting the best of the number here anymore, but that's okay. My power ratings say this number, guys, should be closer to -13. So I just say this is a bad opening number from the odds makers. I anticipate St. Peter's will continue to take money throughout the day. They are already 5-1 ATS this season, and this will be just their second home game of the season. So they should be pretty fired up. St. Peter's, remember, made the NCAA tournament last season. They are 9-1 straight up the last 10 meetings versus Manhattan. The last 6 wins have all come by double digits. Let's now close out the Power 5 with another MAC game. That's the MAAC. Rider +1 against Quinnipiac. I don't understand this number at all. I've got the two teams power rated pretty evenly. Thus, Quinnipiac being favored on the road makes no sense. This will be the Bobcats' 5th consecutive true road game as well, and they are 1-6 ATS overall on this young season. They've lost their last 3 games all by double digits. Meanwhile, for Rider, this will be just their second home game of the season. Give me the Bronx, the short home underdogs. We'll play the money line if this line flips back in their direction. All right, how about a quick recap of the Power 5 for you on Friday? Number 1, Army +3 in the first half versus Tulane. Number 2, Jacksonville State team total over 30.5 versus Western Kentucky. Number 3, UNLV plus 4.5 at Boise State. Number 4, we've now moved to college hoops. St. Peter's minus 8 versus Manhattan. Number 5, Rider plus 1 against Quinnipiac. Again, don't be shy about leaving those comments down below. Let me know what you're betting on tonight as well. Also, if you'd be so kind, smash that like button. Always appreciate the support here on the Power 5, powered by WagerTalk TV. Bowl season right around the corner, guys. I've teamed up with my Morning Wager co-host, Mark Zinno, for an incredible 2-for-1 special. Get all of our bowl plays for just $199. That's every bowl play from both Mark and myself all the way through the national championship game. Just head on over to WT.buzz/BP right now to take advantage. That is going to do it for the Friday edition of the Power 5. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash that like button if you did. Make sure you're subscribed to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. And until next time, let's cash some tickets.